Hello, welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Apologies for sound levels before we even start today, because not only am I wearing 30 decibel muffs, I've got plugs in too. So I thought I'd capture the very first shot of the Ruger Precision Rifle in 338 on camera. We've bore sighted it, we're about to start zeroing it now. So yes, and I don't think the first reaction can ever be forgotten. So we shall catch that on camera. Actually, very smooth, stable rifle. The bore sighting worked remarkably well, and we are about that much off. So here we go. I shall shoot the first group. Because we've got limited ammunition quantities, just 40 rounds, we've got Hornady Match and Hornady Precision Hunter. This is 285 grains, that's 280 grains if I believe. Right, that's the ELD-X and that's ELD-M. They'll both perform extremely well at long range. They've both got ballistic coefficients above 7. I think that one's even above 0.8, G1 anyway. So I'll have a go on the zeroing target now. I don't intend on doing much range shooting with this because we're going to get straight out on the steel at long range as soon as we've got it zeroed. Good thing about these is it's easy to see big holes on target. So we're now going to shoot a couple of groups on target. Again, ammunition is at a premium. I've made some adjustments to the stock. I've put a little bit more on the length of pull. I've raised the cheek piece a bit. I'm having to tip my head onto it more, keep my big nose off the stock. Now, this is already on high scope mounts, so were I to lift that more, it would be really artificially high, and it's already inclined 20 MOA, I think. So, just one thing to think of when you're positioning. Of course, the Ruger RPR, you can undo all these latches and loosen it off the dials inside. Everything comes loose and you can telescope it back and forth. You can move the cheek piece up, down, back and forth as well, and the recoil pad with its underside Picatinny rail. So, what I'll tell you so far from what I've had now, 6 shots, it doesn't resonate badly, which is a great start, because if you get resonance going up through your cheekbone, they can be really painful, well, tiring, give you sort of concussion. So it's not doing that. Okay, it's noisy with the brake, but the brake takes like the recoil out. It's not the physical recoil that's the issue. It's the feel is good. The recoil pad is, it's a little bit softer than a sporting rifle, but it's not too squishy. Other immediate impression is it comes back very linear. It's on a fairly smooth surface here, so this is about as good as it's going to get. So it's not uncomfortable to shoot. And you know, I can shoot all sorts of things. I'll shoot 50 cal, I'll shoot all sorts. I'll shoot 338 without brakes. But the better it is and the nicer it is to shoot, tends to be the better people will shoot with them. So I've shot a group with the Precision Hunter. I'm just going to shoot a 3-round group with the match. And state that, yet again, we're conserving ammunition today. It's a 5-round magazine, single column, it's a push feed bolt face, And I think, if I'm right, I think these are, yes, these look like a 3-lug bolt. I'll take it out, but it's got a folder stop. So you've got minimal bolt lift. And I have to say that the bolt stroke itself feels nice, feels well proportioned. The back end of the bolt goes into the buffer tube and it's got little springs on the side to keep it centralised. It's got that kind of old school Mauser 98 railroad feel. So it kind of, it's smooth, but you kind of, it's like going over the points kind of thing. So we're 9 shots in now. What else can I tell you? It's got a single stage trigger. It's got the inner safety blade, which is familiar to quite a lot of manufacturers. Fairly light sort of pull. I think it's probably pulling at about 1 kilo, 1,000 grams, 2 and a bit pounds. It feels quite crisp. The downside is you've got AR-15 underslung grip on it, and you've got your usual positioning, which is way into the rifle. So, you know, rather than a precision rifle with a slightly more sloped grip, a bit further back where you've got nice reach to the centre part of your trigger, this one you're reaching right through it already. So underside support here, you've got plenty of space, but you can't really grip it in because you're sort of sitting on a point on the front of this piece of Picatinny rail. But this is all solid, there's no rattle, so that's another good point for it. Shot a couple of groups now. Neither are going to set the world on fire, but this is a brand new rifle. Those are the first 9 rounds it has had through it. So I can't moan, can't complain. Zero the turrets now, and we're going to move out and shoot some steel at longer distance.
Right.
Okay, shooting!
Come down 1.5 mil. 1/2 mil right.
Shooting!
Hit, kill zone.
Firing!
Hit, kill zone.
Firing!
Hit. Hit.
Yeah, the recoil is actually very smooth through it. Reload is not disturbing the rifle, and I'm seeing, I can get the bolt open, the bolt racked, while I'm seeing the splash come up. I'm actually quite impressed with that. The thing is, I'm not too concerned yet about the exact performance on target. I'm actually quite pleased with how it shoots. I've shot these RPRs in 17 HMR, 2.2, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 308.
Yeah.
I've shot the 2.43 one as well, which I don't think they make anymore, which is a 7-inch twist. That was a real ballistic performer actually, but you had to hand load for it. Of them all, this is the one where the mechanics and the sort of the architecture of it best suit the actual physics of the caliber to me.
Well, I've had a while to get at it, to go at it now, and also the other thing with 338, it really matters you get that right.
Yeah, it does.
Because if you get a little thing wrong, as we know to our cost, they can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm. Tell me you're going to go shooting all day with a 338 and a break, and you think, right, 40 rounds of ammo, that's plenty. I'm actually not as. Yeah, it's all right.
We got the big muffs on, we can't hear a thing, but we got.
I know. So if we sound like we're shouting on camera, that's why. This is quite uncomfortable to hold on. Now, when you're maintaining same point of aim, shooting a group down, that's fine. But when I'm having to hold off and, you know, hold off 1/2 mil here, 1/4 mil there, etc., and I'm constantly adjusting here, I'm losing slight comfort. And that is not particularly forgiving because, I mean, my hand, can you see all the marks on my hand already? From where I'm having to grip into that, because that's nothing but a square angular edge everywhere. That would want something adding to it on the front so you can hold it and grip it into your shoulder properly, because you do start to lose pressure a bit. Swapping ammo now, run out of the match. So now we've got the 270 grain ELD X Precision Hunter. Let's see how this goes.
Hit. Hit. Just to the left of it, 10 o'clock. Just to the right of it, 4 o'clock.
Right, anyway, what can I say? It's fun to shoot, I've had a nice time, but there are many caveats to shooting 338. It's nice to have a big gun, it's very ballistically good, you can see bullet impact well, you can see trace well. We're only shooting 1,000 metres, it's well capable out to 1,500 or beyond and conditions dependent. Would I have an RPR? Well, yeah, I think if someone said you're going shooting today, you've got 50 rounds of to shoot 338 RPR, I'd say that's fine. And there are plenty of other 338s I've used that I wouldn't be as keen to shoot that many through. It's not the physical recoil on your shoulder, it's the way it transfers through your head and the position on the gun. And what I would probably finish on with this one is that the way it transits and the recoil passes into you, it's on the upper edge of what I think is a good 338. I would modify one to my heart's content anyway, but as a factory rifle out of the box, I quite like it and it does handle it well. So performance on target, 1,000 metres, we've actually just managed to record quite a good string going together. There's a little bit of wind shift going on, they don't all hit, but if you've shot 1,000 metres you'll know that that's the reality of it. So thank you for watching, bye for now. This is the Ruger RPR 338 Light Mag. I've reviewed this rifle in 22 Rimfire, 17 HMR, 243 Fast Twist, 6.5 Creedmoor, 308. Well, here it is in 338, the biggest of the lot. So, running from front to back, what do I want to tell you about it? I'm not going to give you all the boring details, I'm going to give you what I think, what I feel about it. Because specifically 338, as a reviewer, I don't love reviewing them because I've got to go to bigger places, less noise issues, this, that and the other. And they're big beast, ammunition is expensive, so you know it's a lot of work to do. But anyway, I'll give you a little clue to start with. I quite like this one, and here's why. The muzzle brake on it has got, it's a 4-port muzzle brake, it's lateral. Number one, you can time it however you like. It comes slightly offset, but I didn't change it because it felt so damn good to shoot. The recoil pulse off it, although you get recoil, it's more of a shove than a snap. Okay, it's a heavy rifle, it weighs about 10 kilos, but that is impressive, and more importantly, the recoil pulse through the rifle doesn't give you harmonic issues going through the cheek piece that rattle your brains out. That's the big fact to start with. Number two, it's got a 30 MOA Picatinny rail on it, which is ideal for 338 because it's going to give you 1 mile capability, and with the Schmidt & Bender PM2 on top, no issues at all with that if you want to dial to it. I only shot it to 1,000 metres, but I really enjoyed doing that, and I had no reason to push it any further. Number three, I think we're on now. It's got a full-length underside rail for accessories like big bipods. Now here's another fact, I didn't have a bipod available to me. I just put a nice little 6 to 9 inch Harris on it, and do you know what? It worked beautifully because it showed you why the rifle is particularly a favourite of mine. Because through recoil transit, which was, you know, not insignificant but not horrific, the rifle held its point of aim extremely well, which allowed you to sort of self-spot bullets flying in down to target. Because you can see when the weather conditions are right, and it wasn't a particularly windy day in fairness, you could see the trace of the bullet in flight through the scope with your head maintaining position. That's great because the more the gun moves, the more the gun shakes. A, it drifts off target, and B, you lose the eye box, you know, from the the diminishing eye relief and the actual physical backwards and forwards movement of the rifle, and that is a great factor about it. Single column, sorry, 5 round, no big issues in that one. The bolts, 3 lug. The stock can be a little bit stiff, that button, but it actually locks folded if it needs to do. And more importantly, the bolt, you can access the bolt release catch with the stock folded. I'm a little bit short of light wear from my perspective, but the bolt has got these nice springs on it here that stops it all going wonky, and it means it transits really well because the bolt transits within the buffer tube, so I can't fold that straight, but you can imagine now that's within there, so everything stays really well aligned. And because it's a long bolt, without a ridiculously long bolt handle, it's about 70mm of teardrop on the end, it doesn't stagger, it doesn't stutter, and it is slick in movement. Now that's another factor as to when you're shooting in the wind, you've just put a round down, you've seen it miss, you need to make a quick 1/4 mil aim off, move, reload, bang, off it goes again. And we're talking recreational shooting at the end of the day. This isn't anything more serious than that. But that's one of the things I really liked about it. You can rack the bolt without disturbing the gun. Again, only on the small Harris 69 bipod. Other factors to tell you, trigger's adjustable. It breaks actually very nicely, and this is only a £2,500 rifle. It's not super duper expensive, which I thought it possibly could be. Moving backward, let's just move the gun slightly so it's in the centre. You've got adjustable cheek piece, adjustable recoil pad. Now, one thing I would say is the RPR design, you can slacken everything off and everything moves, and it will all move simultaneously. And I'm trying to do this on camera, and you've got, you can adjust the tension on the latches, and everything will kind of interlock. When you're adjusting it, it can be a bit of a faff because everything does unlock, so it all gets a bit of a shuffle and a wriggle on everywhere. But when it all locks back in position, it's incredibly solid. There is no movement, no vibration, nothing. The cheek piece shape it's a little bit wider than I'd prefer, and if the gun was mine to keep, I'd be building a sort of a narrower, more wedge-shaped ridge to go under my cheekbone to allow my head to go in straight without rolling over like this. But that would be if it was my rifle. The only thing I don't like about this rifle, which I would alter were it mine, and I would specifically alter this, is this here. You can run Picatinny rail underneath, you can run accessories, whatever, but when you've got the rifle locked into your shoulder, whatever rest you're using, and I still prefer a soft rest bag because I just think it's the fastest to manipulate, but this front square edge here, it's not exactly super comfortable. And when you've had quite a long session shooting, it digs in, it grinds a little bit, because Picatinny rail and square metal edges, don't say, oh, don't be such a whim, but it's not sort of particularly pleasantly tactile. So over a long day, yes, it feels a bit wearing. But do you know what? I am going to give this rifle a really good rating because I very much liked it. I love the stability between the rear end and the long, the long effective sort of wheelbase, I like to call it, to your bipod feet. And yes, had I had a larger bipod, it would have given me even more stability. But I think the final thing I want to say is, this rifle was a pleasure to shoot. The recoil pulse from it, and most importantly the noise and concussion from that recoil pulse, was distributed from the break sideways. It didn't seem to come back on me too much, and when we tested it on the floor with some gravel, you can see the dust shift in the ground. There was no puff below blowing everything and blocking your vision, and it kept everything bang sideways. So yes, it's a break, it cuts a lot of recoil, it does make noise, but this was actually a very pleasant rifle to shoot. And I've shot plenty of 338s, which I thought, 20 rounds, that was a straining experience. I only had 40 rounds for this, and I could have shot more actually. I had a particularly good day of shooting and it was excellent. One last thing I'll probably note is it's a 5-hour rifle barrel. And unusually, the boxes, which are over there somewhere, state of velocity on them from Hornady, this one was actually a little bit quicker, and I have actually got my cheat sheet here if I can remind myself what the velocities were, but they were actually about 30 feet per second quicker than the box said. It doesn't really matter in the whole scheme of things, but it's just interesting and unusual, and that 5-hour barrel, perhaps they are a little bit quicker. I generally find they are of the faster guns. not breathtakingly so, but it cleans up well and everything's excellent. So, you know, £2,500 at Ruger RPR 338. I think this rifle has grown into its skin, because it always felt a little bit big, a little bit hefty, and you know, especially as the sort of trainer rifle in 2.2, it was nice, but it was just too much. But when you apply it to this, and okay, you've got the heavier barrel, the heavier receiver, the back end's the same, but it just shoots really well, and it's a pleasure to use and to handle. So yeah, that's my overall opinion of the RPR Ruger in 338. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and you will get more reviews. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.